Hey, what's up guys, it's MugenLord here, and today we're going to talk about Final Fantasy, more specifically Final Fantasy 16, because Yoshi P had pretty much made an announcement that the title will possibly go to other platforms after the PC port, which has people speculating, could we see an Xbox Series X release of Final Fantasy 16, and what does this mean for future Final Fantasy titles in the near future? Will we see them on other platforms besides PlayStation 5 and the PC itself? So before we even dive into this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we're going to dive into it real quick. It's from Noisy Pixels. It says that Final Fantasy 16 producer teases other platforms after PC port. Now, like I said, other platforms can mean anything. So most people always think that when they say other platforms, most people think that it may be they talking about like Xbox or Nintendo Switch or something like that, but it can also mean mobile. It can also mean Epic Games or anything like of that sort when they talk about platforms. So we'll just definitely read it and see what they say about this. So it says, recently interviewed Final Fantasy 16 staff at PAX East 2024 discussing the upcoming The Rising Tide DLC while reflecting on the development process of Final Fantasy 16 as a whole. Interestingly, in response to our question about how the team will feel saying goodbye to the cast after the Rising Tide DLC is released, Yoshida said that they are thinking about moving to other platforms after the PC port. Of course, the natural assumption is that he's referring to the Final Fantasy 16 to the Xbox. Now, the thing is, another thing I want to talk about as far as the 16 is concerned in this DLC, I have yet to play any of the DLC. I'm not even sure if I want to get the DLC, because right now I'm currently playing, I'm still playing Final Fantasy 16. I bought it at launch, and as I said before, I really couldn't get into the combat. They decided to make it a more full-on action, character action-based game rather than a traditional Final Fantasy, RPG experience. But I have gotten back into the game because, my goal is to try to beat every Final Fantasy mainline game. So I'm pretty much near the end. So depending on how I feel about the end of the game, maybe I'll jump into the DLC. But the fact is that they're still making DLC for it still goes to show that there is some, fandom behind it, and that these developers want to see this game fully complete as far as the story is concerned. So we're going to dive and continue on with this. Now, there's a quote from Yoshi himself. It said, "It was worth noting that Yoshi did not elaborate on this point farther, and basing on his wording, this plan may not be set in stone yet, so it's best to temper your expectation," which I always tell you guys, always temper your expectations. This could be, like I said, translated, to many folks when they see this discussion. Many people, especially if you're an Xbox fan, is hoping for this to be on Xbox. So you temper your expectation, because once it come out for PC, there may not be a possibility to come to Xbox. And, you don't want to set yourself up after, seeing this quote from Yoshi P himself. So as it's tough for you and the team to say goodbye to all these characters in this DLC, it's not over in the sense that we have the PC version. Once the PC version is released, we're thinking about hopefully moving to other platforms as well. However, that's not really talking about the story. It's more about moving into different platforms. So there's a sense that while the project is still going, there is not that sense of being sad and having to leave them yet. But I'm pretty sure that once everything is released and we've moved on to the next project, that would be the time where it's kind of to hit us. Oh, it's really over. So what he's pretty much saying is that no, it's not over. The story may be over, but as far as still being involved in the Final Fantasy 16 world and its characters, they're still there, because they're considering moving to other platforms, which means they're still going to be spending more time, with these characters, especially when it comes to the porting process, which means they will relive that experience working on this project. So the project's not fully over until they're finished with the other platforms, and it's time to move to the other projects, and that's when it's going to hit them like, damn, we're finished Final Fantasy 16. That's it. We're moving on to something else. So keep an eye out for the full interview. It says the Final Fantasy 16 The Rising Tide DLC will be released on April 18th, 2024. This is the second of 2 announced DLC packages, and was previously stated to be around 10 hours long. That's interesting. A 10-hour long DLC. Now, like I said, I haven't kept up with the DLC with Final Fantasy 16. Is the DLC free or does it come at a cost? I'm not sure. And because there was also another article where they compared how they want to have this game feel complete compared to how Final Fantasy 15, where the main story was so fragmented that they made you pay money to get the other bits of the story, and that they didn't want to do that with Final Fantasy 16, which had me believe that maybe this DLC is free. Like I said, I haven't looked into it because I'm still playing the base story to Final Fantasy 16. I'm right near the end of the game. So, yeah. So this DLC pretty much focuses on the dominant of Leviathan, long lost icon of water, is in need of rescue. Clive and the company travels to this land, a hidden land under the blue sky, where they will uncover the tragic history of the forgotten people. So this does seem interesting as far as the Final Fantasy 16 is concerned. But many of you guys, I know in the comment section who are Xbox fans, and I also see it on Twitter as well, that you guys want to play all of the current Final Fantasy games on your Xbox, and I definitely feel for you guys. Like I said before, I have all the consoles. I have the Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, and I have no dog in this fight when it comes to this console war, which I think is so fucking stupid. But I would love to see Final Fantasy 16 on the Xbox. I think it would be nice for every gamer to get a hold of Final Fantasy 16. It's made by a third-party studio. It's not like it's a first-party studio, and I always said this before, I don't think third-party studios should be exclusive. I think third-party studios should be able to be on as many platforms as possible. Even when it comes to these competitors, it should be on that platform. I think everybody should be able to get their hands on 16. And despite 16, where there's an argument whether it was successful or not, but I believe that if Final Fantasy 16 was not just solely exclusive on the PlayStation 5 and they did a day and date for PS5 and PC, that they'll probably be seeing even record high numbers and everything. And if they have it on Xbox, day and date, that they'll still see a bump in their sales in some shape or fashion. Now, I can't really say much for the Switch. I mean, the Switch, that technology is pretty much dated at this point, so I can't see 16 somehow being capable to work on it. But a potential port for Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the next Nintendo console could potentially be, I would love to see Final Fantasy 16 on as well. And we also talked about Final Fantasy 17. I would love to see Final Fantasy 17 be a day and date on all consoles. Now, many people are speculating and asking, okay, we have Final Fantasy 14 coming to the Xbox Series X, and now after hearing this news for Final Fantasy 16 going to potential other ports outside of PC, what about Final Fantasy 7 Remake Trilogy? And sad to say, I doubt that we'll ever get that, is because Sony had made sure to lock in Final Fantasy 7 Remake Trilogy onto their platform. After Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth came out, now the news kind of died out. Now, I know that that's always going to be the case when the game finally comes out, but this game is not hitting records as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many people are concerned, especially all the hype. It had its own state of play and everything like that. So, for them to go all out and to make it exclusive, and then it's not bringing in those numbers as they were hoping, and I think it's only a tad bit higher than Final Fantasy 16. Is it worth just keeping it exclusive to the PlayStation? Because there's a lot of Xbox fans that is dying to get their hands on that. But I'm going off into a tangent. We'll have to say that for another video. But definitely want to hear your thoughts onto this when it comes to Final Fantasy 16. Do you have the title on the PS5? And if you don't, were you waiting for the PC? Are you happy that it's coming to the PC? And were you looking forward to play this on the PC? And what mods can we expect to see once it does come out for the PC platform itself? So definitely your thoughts in the comment sections below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.